Hello again, everybody. It's Kevin Donka with Donka Drums, and today I'm going to do a lesson, more than just a video, an actual lesson on how to play good downstrokes. I've had many conversations with fellow drum teachers, and we have pretty much agreed that the one thing that we see is the biggest problem in modern drummers is that they don't know how to play a good downstroke, which means they don't know how to play good grace notes. And all the instructors are always saying, get your grace notes down, get your grace notes down. But that's hard to do if you don't know how to play a good downstroke. So first, let's talk about the difference between a rebound stroke, which is also called a legato stroke, and a downstroke, which is also called a Mercato stroke. Now, Mercato many times means louder, but it also means separate notes, whereas legato means flowing together. Mercato means very strict separate notes, not quite staccato, but there's a definite difference between the notes, whereas legato is very flowing. So we'll just say downstroke instead of Mercato because that's kind of confusing. But let's talk about a legato stroke is where you just allow the stick to rebound back up, right? Just like that. Nice and free. A downstroke is where you actually stop the stick. Now, for our purposes today, we're always going to stop the stick at 1 inch, at playing position. Now, your ready position should be that your sticks are about 1 inch above the head. Your sticks are roughly 90 degrees apart. That's a 90-degree angle, so like a diamond or the edge of a square. And your sticks are parallel to the ground if your drum is flat. If your drum is tipped, your sticks should be parallel to the surface that you are playing on. But we're playing flat, so we're going to say the stick should be flat. So when you stop your stick, it should come right back to that ready position right there. Now, it used to be we would say squeeze, release, squeeze, release. If you're going to do like a Bucks exercise, accent grace note exercise, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. We don't do that anymore. The modern heads have so much rebound that if you try to squeeze that head and stop it, you're going to do damage to yourself over time. So what we're going to say is just stop the stick. Just stop it. Just make sure your hand just closes down and stops the stick. It's an absolutely momentary thing. It's not like you're going to hold it there or anything. So we're going to learn how to stop the stick right in that position. Now, in my book, my favorite warm-ups and exercises, one of my first exercises is what I call RB8s. And RB stands for Riverside Brigade. It's the rope drum line that we're in. And this is the 8s exercise I wrote for our warm-up. Now, a lot of people really like that warm-up because it goes back and forth between the left and right all through the exercise. But there's a very, very important part of this that most people miss, and that is that there are both legato strokes and downstrokes. So let's just take the first four bars. Okay, yeah, so it's eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you do 2 bars on the right hand. And then the next 4 bars are exactly the same starting on the left. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now the left. Nice free legato strokes. Okay, now most people don't have any trouble with that. What they're not understanding and what they're missing is that that very last stroke on each hand is a downstroke. It doesn't bounce back up. You don't let it bounce, but not like all of these, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got to stop it right there and hold it in ready position, even as you're lifting your stick to start with the left. You've got to stop that left on the last one as you're ready to lift for the right again. So if you're really going to take 8s to another level, understand that you're not just worried about getting warmed up and doing nice legato strokes, you're also doing really good downstrokes. 2 and 3 and 4 down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 down. Now, here's the key. It's not any louder. It's not. It's exactly the same volume. You're just stopping the stick. Okay? So after those 8 bars, then we go 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, and then we switch it 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, and we'll skip the last 2 bars because they're a little different and it has nothing to do with the downstrokes and legatos. So far we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 down. See how I stop it right away? It's not bouncing up and then returning to the ready position. Now here we go. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. So practice that. Practice that, stopping those downstrokes. Now, I want to talk about how to play grace notes in a regular piece. Not every flam that you play is going to be accents. There are many that are not. So you also need to be able to play downstrokes from 6 inches, from a regular tap height. So do 8s, but from 6 inches. And you still stop the stick at 1 inch with each last stroke. So here we go, the next part. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. Now, those will help you get that down. Now, let me give you a clue as to how you can tell if you're playing downstrokes or if you're playing legato. And this is also my book. It's called Legato Mercato. And remember, Mercato is the downstroke, legato is the rebound stroke. So here's something I noticed on my own while I was playing, while I was learning how to play on modern drum heads. I noticed that when I play legato strokes, if I look at my sticks, if I stare right at my stick through its whole arc, the only place I really see the tips together is at the top, because they're both stopping there momentarily and then they come back down. I can see both tips together at the top, but if I look at the path of the sticks all through there, everything else is a blur. Now, if I suddenly do more Mercato strokes, where I'm actually stopping the stick after each stroke, suddenly I can see the tips at the bottom and the top. So here's legato. Everything's flowing. You can only see the tips at the top. Now, if I switch to downstrokes, you can suddenly see the tips together at the bottom for a second as well. Legato, Mercato. Legato, Mercato. Now, hopefully you can see that on the video, but if you can't, you can do it on your own. Look down at your sticks and notice where you see the tips. Now, what's really cool is if you do that legato mercato exercise, you learn how to go back and forth between rebound strokes and downstrokes, but keeping the volume the same. Now, when most people do this, they do this: legato, mercato, legato, mercato. It shouldn't be a difference in volume. Legato, mercato, legato, mercato. Rebound, downstroke. Rebound, downstroke. Okay, so those are 2 absolutely crucial distinctions to be able to make if you want to be able to play things at a higher level. So now I have a couple of other exercises that you can do, because we need to learn how to play good flams. A good flam, you don't lift the grace note. In fact, if you were to just say, play a flam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Notice my grace note did not lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's do a left flam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can't believe how hard that is to do if you've never thought about it. Most people start, they go, they're going to play a flam accents. They lift both. But it should be 1, 2, da 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 da. And it's a good flam. 1, 2, 3, 4. A good flam sounds like plop, 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 plop. It's not chut, chut, chut. It's plop, plop, plop. There's two definite sounds. Now, a double stop, on the other hand, that sounds like chut, 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 chut. But a flam, plop, 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 plop. And the key to being able to play good flams is being able to have a good downstroke and then a grace note. You got to be able to stop it and then just drop it. Stop, drop, stop, drop, stop, drop, stop, drop, stop, drop, stop, drop. Slower. Stop, drop, 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 stop, drop. Now, are there times when you would want to allow your stick to come up to 3 inches? Of course. If you're playing this, and if you're doing an accent and your next stroke is at 3 inches, allow it to bounce up to 3 inches. But we're talking about flams here. I'm not talking about floppy flams. Really, when you get faster, the grace notes come up. That's something totally different. We're talking about good flams here. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Do them as parados. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Now, this doesn't mean you tighten up. You don't play. You're still loose. You're still nice and relaxed. But because you've got good downstrokes, you're able to play good flams. So here's an exercise that I like to have my students do in order to develop the ability to switch back and forth between taps and grace notes. And what it is you play 4 bars of 4/16 notes, and you just move the accent, kind of like a grid. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a on the left. Then E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Now the ands. And a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. Now this is going back and forth between 1 inch and 6 inches. You should also practice it at 1 and 3, 1 and 4. Okay, vary your tap height depending on your volume, but the grace note height always stays the same. Now, after you do one accent, do 2 accents. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. This takes a whole different skill set. Because those first 2, those are legato. So you got legato, downstroke, legato, legato. Legato, downstroke, legato, legato. Whoops. See? Legato, downstroke. Maybe practice that first. Just that. Let that, don't do 2 downstrokes. Do a legato and a downstroke. Then add in the others. Then 1 E and a 2 E, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Now 1 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Now 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Now the offbeats, the E's and U's. And 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, and then, or you can take out the 1s and the ands and the E's and the U's, just as long as you're getting the double strokes. Then try 3 strokes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So what you're doing now is you're doing 2 legato strokes and then a downstroke, followed by a grace note. So maybe practice that first. Legato, legato, down. Legato, legato, down. Rebound, rebound, down. Rebound, rebound, down. And then add that 4th one in. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Like I should do them all. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. So, and then you can practice all taps. And then the last one's a downstroke. And then all grace notes. Now, did you lift for that first one? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. You shouldn't have come up from here. It shouldn't go 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a... Nope, it's already at grace note height. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and don't lift. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... So those are really important. Now, once you get that down, make sure you practice your regular bucks, right? But not always from accent height, from tap height. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Now put them together. And you've got good flams. See? That's how you get good flams. That's how you get your grace notes. And stay relaxed. Again, it's not... So once you get those down, now do doubles on each hand. Here we go. Nice and relaxed. But what is it? Legato, downstroke. Legato, downstroke. The grace notes are always coming from 1 inch, but that's why we do the double accents, right? Look what the right hand does when I play right flams, left flams. That's why we did those other exercises first. So, practice singles and doubles. Now 3 on each hand. Then switch. And 4 on a hand. Remember, when you're doing 4 on a hand, you do legato, 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 downstroke. Legato, 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 downstroke. And that downstroke is no louder than the legato stroke. See? Remember this exercise? Legato, Mercato. Rebound, downstroke. Remember where you can see those tips. So that's the end of this lesson. I mean, you can take this and do all kinds of things like paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. Just practice doing your flams back and forth. Now, also practice them with the flams at accent height. But when instructors teach that first, I find that students tend to get really locked up and they stay really tight. So by practicing nice low flams first, even 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches. Just go back and forth, back and forth. That will help you get the control to be able to play things like pataflaflas. You have 3 heights on a pataflafla, right? You've got your first flam, which is a grace note and an accent, and then you've got 2 taps. And then you've got a grace note and an accent and 2 taps, right? Oops, sorry, that's second flam, then you have another flam. But if you play those without accents, those are all the exercises that we did when we did 4. So hopefully this is valuable. I didn't write out sheets for this or anything, but it's pretty simple. Move the accent, move 1 accent, then move 2. And then move 3. And then do all, and then all grace notes. Now, as I said, they're not really accents. They're taps and grace notes. Okay? So, that's all I wanted to do for this lesson. Hopefully this is really valuable. And listen, I've been playing, I am 59 and a half years old. I still practice this stuff all the time. See, now, that's all legatos, right? Even that last stroke, it bounces back up. Down. The last one's a downstroke. So you see, it's really, really important to play anything to be able to control if you rebound or if you stop the stick. If you play legato or Mercato. If you play a rebound or a downstroke. Okay, that's it. If you like this video, please watch it over and over. Practice this stuff. Tell your friends about these lessons that I'm doing. Tell them about my page, Donka Drums, on Facebook and Donka Drums on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel. I don't post there very often, but I hope to be more often. But please let your friends know about my page and let them know that they can watch these videos and learn a lot of stuff. And if you're interested in my book, there is a link on my page. But the easiest way to find my book, I could give you the website, which is www.donkastore.equid.com. I'm going to tell you the easiest way to find it is Google Donka Drums Store. D-O-N-K-A Drums Store. And the very first thing that comes up is my link where you can buy my book. And you have the option to get it as a digital PDF version, or you can get the hard copy. They both cost $30. There's no shipping. But whatever you want to do, if you want a digital copy, just write in the comments, digital copy, please. But hopefully, this is the kind of thing that's going to really help you get to where you want to go. So let me know in the comments what you think of the video and what else you'd like to see me do a lesson on. And until then, practice fun, play fun, practice hard, play hard. We'll see you.